Terrific. Welcome. And let's see, the attendees that's weird. I do not see anyone on the attendees list, so I don't know who's in the waiting room now that we've opened it. Michelle? Oh, here they come. Hello, welcome. We are glad you are here. We're just about ready to get on the bus to go to San Francisco State. And we are looking forward to going traveling with you. So just get settled. We will be there. And we'll get started in just a minute. All right. Welcome. Hi, Naomi. We're glad not Naomi. Hi, Maya. We're glad you're here. Welcome. All right. So nice to see you here tonight. Thank you for gathering. Thank you for joining us as we are here at San Francisco State University. And we have a great team of people to show us around on our tour tonight. We're going to let people get settled and get started in just a minute. So thank you all for coming. And we're looking forward to enjoying our trip. So welcome. And in just a minute, we are going to get started. I want to introduce myself. My name's Deborah Massey. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a senior educator at Jewish Learning Works, which is based in San Francisco. I have strong allegiance to San Francisco State, even though I was never a student there, but it's a fabulous school. What I'm doing here on the bus with you all is that my work at Jewish Learning Works is on our teen initiative. And I get to work with lots of people who work with teens in the Bay Area. So as part of the Bay Area Jewish Teen Initiative, we are a part of a funders collaborative. So there are 10 cities nationwide, and we work to increase teen engagement in Jewish life across the country. And this bus tour is going all over the country, and we're super excited to be in the Bay Area. We are excited to have partnered with many of the communities around the country to offer college road trip in many different cities. We're thrilled to be part of this national initiative, and we thank our funders, Jim Joseph Foundation, and a variety of other local funders for their generous support who makes this happen. In a moment, I'm going to allow our panelists to introduce themselves, and we'll have a chance to hear from each of them. If you have any questions throughout the sessions, please post them using the Q&A button, or if it's easier for you, feel free to just type them in the chat, no problem. We'd be happy to take your questions. We are recording this session so that others who missed this bus will be able to get it through the recording. We're going to do our best to get as many questions answered and also leave a few minutes at the end if there are additional questions. I think, if you have any technology issues, let us know. Sarah is helping us on the back on the tech side. So if you need anything, message us in the chat, and Sarah will be there to help. So let's introduce our panelists. I am excited to first introduce Rachel Saya, who's here from the San Francisco State University Admissions Department. And Rachel, will you please welcome us?
Hi, everyone. So glad to be here. I'll be presenting about admissions information for those of you who may be interested in joining us sometime in the future. But my name is Rachel. I use she, her pronouns, and I am an undergraduate recruitment specialist with the Office of Admissions and Recruitment here at SF State. I will pass it over to Naomi to also introduce herself.
Thanks, Rachel. Hi, everyone. My name is Naomi Zapersky, and I use she, her pronouns. And I'm the director of campuses at San Francisco Hillel. We are a citywide Hillel serving all the schools in San Francisco, including the wonderful campus of San Francisco State. So I'm excited a little bit later to talk about Jewish life at SF State and the work that we do at Hillel. And I will pass it on to Christian.
Hello, he, him, his pronouns. Christian Lozano, serve as a director for the Office of Diversity, Student Equity, and Interfaith Programs at the university. And I am so happy to be here. One of the areas that I support is our Interfaith Programs unit, which includes our Jewish student life. And I'll go ahead and pass it over to one of our awesome students, Maya.
Hi everyone, my name is Maya and I am a rising junior at San Francisco State. And I'm so excited to be here and share my experience with you all. I don't know who hasn't gone, I kind of came in a little, but is there anyone else who I'll pass it over to?
Yeah.
Michelle,
Okay.
or to you. Hello.
Yeah. Okay, Maya, we're glad you're here. Thank you so much. And we're going to make sure everyone has a chance to present, and we're going to start with Rachel talking from the Office of Admissions. So thank you so much.
Awesome. I'm going to start sharing my screen so you can see the PowerPoint I have for you all. Alrighty. Is my PowerPoint full screen on your end? Awesome. I'm doing it right. We're getting better with Zoom each and every day. We continue to work remotely. Am I right, friends? Alrighty. So San Francisco State University is part of the California State University system, also known as the CSU system, right? In the state of California, we have some pretty great systems known as like the UC system, University of California. Notable schools are like UC Berkeley, UCLA, but we are part of the CSU system. So we are in the same family as San Diego State University, San Jose State, CSU Chico, right? So SF State is the one and only four-year public state institution in the city of San Francisco, which is amazing. We are right underneath the Golden Gate Bridge and Golden Gate Park, really, really close to the Pacific Ocean. So we definitely get that breeze and the cool feeling. Everyone here says no matter what day of the year it is, you're always going to need a sweater or a cardigan with you to stay warm because you never know the weather is going to change on you. And we are 10 miles directly from downtown SF, which is totally accessible and wonderful as well. But also here at SF State, we have over 70 majors for you to choose from when you apply and join us as a student. But some programs actually have concentration. So really overall, that's over 100 academic options for you to really consider here. So on the screen, you can see our most popular programs as well as our impacted programs. If you don't know what the word impacted means, that just means there is a limit to how many students can join that program every admission cycle. So they are a little more competitive to get into. They do have a higher admissions requirements. Most of them are just going to be looking for a higher GPA standard, but for the most part, if you're interested in any other program, you just need to meet the minimum admission requirements, which I will go over in a couple slides as well. But impaction does not mean impossible, right? There are so many ways for you to get to your end career goal without just going to one major program. And I'm sure many students currently in college can talk about that and speak on that, but I always encourage students, when you think of a job or a career that you want to go into, explore all the different possible majors you can, study and apply into, right? There's no one major that's going to get you to the end goal, which is awesome. We are also a large campus with roughly around 28,000 students in total, both undergrad and grad. Don't worry, not all 28,000 are going to be on campus at one time. We do have a population that are online students and others that may be on our downtown campus for the more graduate programs, right? But with being a large campus means we will have a lot of student organizations, clubs, and activities for you to be a part of. One being SF Hillel, right? So I'm sure you will hear Maya and a little bit from Naomi and Christian as well as in regards to all the organizations that you can be a part of. So you can find clubs that range from your career-related interests, talent-based interests like a cappella, dance clubs, some of them maybe even just social interests, right? Things that you may have in common with other people. But getting involved on campus is great for you to build your community, your home away from home, but also finding new friends that'll really enhance your college experience as well, right? So it's going to be really awesome. We also have a lot of resources to support you academically as well. These are just some of the campus, offices that we have to help. What's great about these services is that they don't come to you at an extra cost, with the exception of study abroad, right? While you're still overseas, you still got to pay for your fees. But for example, we have a career services and leadership development office that helps you look at your resume, post jobs, can do practice interviews with you, and they don't charge you any extra fees for just utilizing their services and staff members, which is awesome. But all of their information can be found on our website, sfsu.edu. So you can just go on that main page, find their office, and read more about their programs and services to help you out. We do also offer housing on campus. We have housing in forms of residence halls, suite style, and apartment style living. Residence halls are going to kind of be your dorm style, like what you see in the photo. You have a roommate with you and you have a communal bathroom on the same floor. Suites are a miniature version of apartments. Apartments are rooms with your own bathroom to share with your roommates, as well as a full-blown kitchenette. So it has a stovetop, microwave, refrigerator, dishwasher, but the suites have a half kitchen type style. So you have two stove burners, you have I think, microwave, as well as like storage space for all of your dishware. So all of them will range in terms of pricing and just like what they may offer you, but all on-campus housing is safe. You can only access the buildings with your student ID and if you are an on-campus resident. And they do provide a lot of great social and academic support for you through student staff members, as well as the full-time professional staff members. So if you're interested in looking at the housing options and what the rooms look like, there is a 360 tour, virtual tour online, which is something you can check out on the website housing.sfsu.edu. Alrighty, and so this is just a rough breakdown of the costs for this graph. It's just the estimates. Don't freak out about the big numbers just yet. And this is right now just for our in-state students. If you are a California resident, you do have the benefit of receiving in-state tuition, which is going to be this red bubble right here per semester. So times that number by 2 is approximately how much you'll pay for one academic year. But the only chargeable fees that the university will charge you as a student is going to be tuition and fees, as well as on-campus housing. Everything else is going to kind of be on your own. And that includes meals and off-campus housing, your own books and supplies, personal expenses. So the prices you see here are kind of on the higher end. And this is before any financial aid is applied, which I will briefly go over in the next slide. I understand I also may be talking to some out-of-state students, which is totally fine too. There is an out-of-state charge as well, which is slightly different. You do get this base tuition price that the in-state students are charged, but you have this additional roughly $400 per unit. So if you estimate that you are taking 12 units for one semester, it's going to be roughly about $8,000 for one, I think, semester. So times that by 2, I'm sorry, this is times by 2 already, yeah. So that's going to be your tuitions and fees for one academic year. But more information can be found on our website if you need the entire breakdown. But I did mention financial aid because I know those prices are big and scary, right? So we do accept financial aid in forms of grants, scholarship, work study, and loans. And typically the first step to receiving financial aid is to submit the FAFSA, which is known as the free application for federal student aid. If you're a US citizen, if you're not a US citizen, there is the California DREAM Act available as well to kind of help support your finance options. So work on those. At the same time, you are working on your college applications, and you should be receiving financial aid awards and offers around the same time you're hearing back from your universities on your admissions offer as well. Alrighty, so here are the first-time freshman requirements. A first-time freshman means that you haven't enrolled as a full-time student in any college, whether that's community college or another college elsewhere. If you're a California resident, you might have heard the term A through G requirements. That means we are looking for the minimum number of years in these subject areas. For our out-of-state students, we just look at your courses and we will try to align them up to these subject areas as best possible. But again, these are just the minimum number of years we're looking for. So if you meet all of these, great. If you want to be a standout applicant, especially if you're someone looking into one of our impacted programs, we encourage you to go above and beyond in areas such as math, science, as well as a foreign language. Additionally, if you are a current rising senior, so if you just finished your junior year, that's awesome. We are not looking for the SAT or ACT exam scores, just in our response to the COVID pandemic, right? We understand it's not as accessible to everyone as it was in the past, which is great. So that's happening for our current rising seniors. For anyone else, this may change back to our original protocol by the time it's your turn to apply. Just, I encourage you to check back into us and the entire CSU system to check in on to see what's going on with SAT and ACT scoring. We also look for a minimum GPA of a 2.0. The CSU GPA means we're only taking the grades from these courses right here. So as you can see on this list, PE is not one of the A through D courses. I encourage you to still do well in the PE course, but we're not taking a grade for the GPA requirements. If you are between that 2.0 and 2.5 GPA, we will go through something called the supplemental factor review. So if you're at a 2.5 or above, you are directly admissible to our non-impacted programs. But if you are below that 2.5, we will go through supplemental review, which is going to be right over here. So we look at information for who you are, then more than just your courses and grades. I will return to this slide because I want to touch upon the slide that I just quickly skipped over, which is our out-of-state as well as international student admission requirements. So if you're an out-of-state student, the only change from what I previously talked about is just going to be that minimum CSU GPA of a 2.47. So if you're at a 3.0 or above in your high school grades and you are directly admissible, if you're at a 2.47 to 2.9, we will also go through supplemental factor review for you. Our international students, meaning if you have a F1 student visa status, also have a different GPA, but you also have this English proficiency requirement to show as proof as well. So once again, the supplemental factor is just if you are just below that admissible GPA mark. And again, we look at who you are then more than just your grades and courses that you've taken, right? Are you a first generation student? Do you come from a low income household? Maybe you're part of some educational programs such as EOP or Gear Up, right? So all of these factors will also add points to your admissions profile. I'll quickly go over transfer requirements just in case you're someone who's considering a community college route first or going elsewhere, but then decide you may want to transfer in SF states. What's cool about SF State is that we have two transfer routes. One is called the lower division transfer. The other is the upper division transfer. Not all universities have this. The lower division transfer means you can come in as soon as you start college. So anywhere between your first 2 years, which is traditionally less than 60 transferable semester units, you can already apply to transfer in. For the lower division transfers, we do look at your high school criteria. So we will look at your high school coursework, and we are looking for at least a 2.0 GPA from your college courses, and that you have completed one college course in written communication, which is oftentimes English composition and writing, as well as a college level math course, such as college level algebra, statistics, calculus, whatever that is. For our upper division students, we are looking at that you have at least 60 or more transferable units. We do not look at any high school coursework at all. Once again, looking for at least a 2.0 GPA and that you have completed these 4 areas. So in addition to that written communication and math course, we are looking that you've completed an oral communication course, such as public speaking, as well as a critical thinking course, which can be logic, ethics, philosophy type course. There's also just straight up critical thinking courses if you attend any California community college. So these are courses at your college or even community college that you will typically take within your first 1 to 3 years. So don't worry that these are like additional courses that you would have to pile onto your schedule. Most students will already have completed these courses by the time you're ready to transfer in. So if you're interested in applying, we do have fall and spring applications open for our rising seniors. If you're interested in joining us right after high school, the application will open up this October 1st and it runs through November 30th, but there may be some extensions on that. We'll have to see. We were given extensions last year due to COVID, so odds are it might happen again, but don't take my word for it. If you're considering joining us in any spring semester, whether it's from a community college or you want to take a 1 semester break or something after high school, that's totally fine too. Our spring applications are open throughout the month of August every year as well. And our application is online at the Cal State Apply website. So if you are considering other CSU campuses, that's totally fine. And what's great about it is that it's just one application and you check all the boxes for the campuses you want to apply it to, and it'll be sent there. So you don't have to input your information multiple times. So that's everything in my presentation. I know I went super fast, but thankfully this is being recorded, but we can always connect again to review any information that you may be, more confused about or need more clarification on. But if you would like to check out the campus more, we are still hosting virtual guided tours, which is led by one of our office's student ambassadors on Zoom. They'll show you the campus through a series of photos and everything. In-person tours are eventually going to resume again, but more information to come. That has not been released yet, unfortunately. We also have a great program called A Chat with the Gator, because we are the alligators, right? So you can log on to Zoom and pretty much join a student panel and put your questions in, ask them about the experience, what they love most about SF State, and just get answers from them, right? No commitment, just a great way for you to learn more about the campus and to expand, your ideas of what you expect out of college. So that is everything I want to share, but this is my information that if you want to take down, if you forget anything in the presentation at all, take down this email, outreach@sfsu.edu, and it'll be forwarded to a staff member, most likely me, if you're in the SF area, and we can always reconnect again in the future. So thank you.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Rachel. We did have a question about sports and other activities. Can you share a little bit about what life outside of the academics is like?
Oh yeah, great question. So if you're looking at playing on a collegiate level, we are an NCAA Division II school, which means you can get recruited as well as try out for the sports team. We don't have all sports available. So we don't have football because we also don't have a football field, unfortunately. We're in San Francisco, so space is a little more limited here. So unfortunately, we don't have a football field. But I know for men's and women's, we have, baseball, softball, I think soccer, track and field, right? Again, so if you don't get recruited, you can also try out and you do get the benefits of a student athletes get. So I think that could be some help, some scholarship money, help with some fees, books and supplies, right? But being a student athlete is very rewarding, but also very challenging because it'll teach you about time management, right? And how to really balance out being an athlete and being a scholar at the same time, which is cool. But if you don't want to play on a collegiate level, we also have intramural clubs. So you can go on a volunteer basis, create a team with your friends. And we have a beautiful, relatively new Mashouf Wellness Center. So there's an indoor pool, gym, indoor track, volleyball, basketball. So it's really nice and it's free for you to utilize because you already pay for all of that through your student fees. So those are some ways you can get involved. Otherwise, the other clubs and organizations, like I talked about, kind of mentioned before, are the ways for you to get involved. You can see all the listings of what's available for you to be a part of on our website as well. Awesome.
Mute. Great. Thank you. All right. Let me check to see. Oh, there we go. What percentage of students live on campus?
Great question. Believe it or not, we are actually noted as a commuter school. That just means the majority of our students commute onto campus. And let me just say that's only because we do have limited housing on campus, right? Housing on campus is kind of a first come, first serve situation. So as soon as you realize you need on-campus housing, submit an application to the housing department. And the sooner you submit that, the higher chance you can receive an on-campus housing offer. Like I said, we are a large campus of about 28,000 students, and roughly, I believe 18 to 20% of the students overall do live on campus because I believe our housing only accommodates up to, I think, 4,000 bed spaces in total. Again, land is limited, right, on our campus in the city of San Francisco, which is why we do have a smaller percentage of students living on campus. But we do have a lot of off-campus, not affiliated with the school, housing communities and complexes. The closest one is like right across the street from campus. Otherwise, you can use public transportation. It's just a couple stops away from the school for you to also consider as well. Pricing is a little bit different as well as their contracts and what they offer. So we always encourage students to go on the housing website. There are resources for those off-campus complexes as well as the on-campus housing opportunities as well.
Terrific. Rachel, you packed so much in like 20 minutes. Thank you. There may be other questions. We'll let you know. But for right now, we're going to keep the bus rolling. And thank you. And I'm going to introduce Naomi from San Francisco State Hillel.
Thanks, Deb. Yes, again, for anyone who may have joined, my name is Naomi. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the director of campuses at San Francisco Hillel. So while we serve all the campuses in the city of San Francisco, today I'm going to share a little bit more about Jewish life at SF State. So I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully everyone can see this. And yeah, we're just going to walk through. I will preface this. There are lots of words on the screen. Read it or not. As we said, it's a recording, so you will be able to come back, and all this information can also be found on our website. So who are we? What is San Francisco Hillel? You may or may not know, Hillel International is an international organization that supports Jewish students across the country and across the world and building community on their campuses. And so San Francisco Hillel, we specifically do that for students across the city in San Francisco, specifically at SF State. And our hope is to enrich the lives of Jewish students across San Francisco and at SF State so that they may enrich the Jewish people and the world. And I want to note that we not only serve Jewish students, we also serve all students. We are a community that is built to help our students celebrate Jewishness, learn about Jewish identity, whether or not they hold those identities. And that's why I wanted to make sure to include our inclusivity statement on here, because we really do hold that importantly. And I think, as Rachel was talking about, SF State is such a diverse campus and we celebrate that. And I think it's beautiful that our San Francisco Hillel community really reflects that diversity as well that you see on your San Francisco State campus, which is amazing. You'll see in the image, we do have an SF Hillel house. It is about a 10-minute walk from the heart of San Francisco State's campus. So when you need a break from on campus, you can walk to our house. We have coffee, we have couches, we have Netflix, and there's always staff here that are excited to talk to people. We have a backyard with hammocks. So it's really amazing. But in addition to who we are, what do we do? So the support that we provide, we really feel like it falls into these 4 core buckets: cultivating connection, making meaning, pursuing justice, and ensuring basic needs are met. What does all of that mean? Cultivating connection, I think you can see it in the images that are on the screen. We are here to help our community build connection, building friends, having leadership opportunities, engaging with the community on campus, off campus, and having those moments where it really feels like I'm a part of something bigger, and that community is also part of me and a part of who I am. And that's what we really like to do when we help students cultivate connection. Making meaning, whether that is through holiday celebrations, Shabbat dinners on campus, whether that is through learning opportunities, guest lectures, movie nights, whatever it might be. We have an incredible group of student leaders who create initiatives and opportunities for them and their peers to make meaning, and again, to feel like something a little bit bigger. And pursuing justice. I think it's clear San Francisco as a city is certainly very focused on social justice, tikkun olam, this value of repairing the world. And we know that that's something our students come to as well. So whether that's through our Meets Vote campaign, which is our Get Out the Vote campaigns, or through volunteering opportunities, we've done different alternative spring break trips to volunteer. We're here to help our students pursue justice. And we also know all of this can't happen unless the basic needs of our students are being met. And whether that's connecting our students to wellness opportunities on campus, the mental health center, connecting them with the food pantry on campus, resume building, mentorship opportunities, we see students holistically for who they are. And that's what we at SF Hillel do to support students. But it's not just about what we do at SF Hillel. San Francisco Hillel is also a registered campus organization, one of the hundreds that Rachel was talking about before on campus. So while you'll find us in our building, you really find us on campus, celebrating and present. So I love these pictures here. Of course, they are a little bit older pictures because we weren't able to be on campus this past year, but it starts to give you a taste of the ways in which we bring Jewish life and we make it accessible on campus. And so you'll see from these pictures, the top was from our Jewish Culture Week. Every year we celebrate all things about Jewish culture, and we build tents on campus and we bring that to life. We have students who come up with Rosh Hashanah and high holiday celebrations on campus. This was our student Jeremy who planned this whole Rosh Hashanah program to have on the quad. And then on the bottom, you see during our Israel Week celebrations, we have conversations and opportunities to chat over lemonade and snacks on campus. So this is just a list of all the things that you might potentially do with SF Hillel, whether you can find us handing out free swag items and snacks on the quad. We build a giant sukkah during Sukkot on the quad. We provide free coffee at Cafe 101 on campus, and also off campus, San Francisco and the Bay Area, there's nothing better. And so whether that's celebrating Tu B'Shvat under the redwoods in Muir Woods, going across the bay to Urban Ottoman and doing celebrations with them, picnics in Golden Gate Park, hikes, all of it, we're here. And even this year, virtually, and we think maybe even as a hybrid moving forward, book clubs will continue to happen virtually. We will continue to have opportunities for Shabbats to tune in virtually. So there's truly a never-ending list of all the ways in which students can engage with Jewish life on campus. And also just briefly note that Jewish Greek Life is also among many organizations that students can get involved with. So Alpha Epsilon Pi, AE Pi, is a national Jewish fraternity across the country. And we have a chapter here that not only serves students at SF State, but again, there are also members from other campuses, which I think is really cool to not only build Jewish connections with students at SF State, but across the city. And there's also Lambda Chi Mu, which is a local sorority at SF State based on Jewish values, strength, empowerment, leadership, etc. So there's also ways for students to get involved in Greek life Jewishly if that's what they're interested in. And I flew through that so quickly, so I will take a breath, but I'm also now going to pass it to Christian, who is an incredible partner that we have on campus within the Division of Equity and Community Inclusion. And he's going to chat a little bit more about the work they do and how they also promote Jewish life on campus.
I forgot to unmute myself. Forgive me. Classic. Thank you, Naomi. So I'm here representing the Office of Diversity, Student Equity, and Interfaith Programs, but we are a part of a bigger division, which is a division of equity and community inclusion. Our community values is always to create safe spaces, and we often say safe and brave spaces, where we want students to feel safe and brave to share their thoughts, feelings, and using that as a method to learn and teach as well. Community, we are big on gathering folks. Of course, in these moments of COVID, we have been apart, but we physically apart, but we have been together through our virtual platforms, and community is big. Compassion as well. The work that we do is compassionate and work that we do because we're passionate about it. And we try to project that with the programs and our interactions with various individuals, and consciousness, right? So in order for us to address an issue, address a problem, we have to be conscious that it exists and that it is there. So we're not afraid to call the it and have dialogue around that, or grow or develop from whatever may come. So we're very conscious about the work that we do. Next slide, please. So I am just one of the many individuals that make, the Division of Equity and Community happen. So I can't take all the credit, but this is a screenshot of some of my colleagues and all of the different areas that we support. I will highlight our Asian American and Pacific Islander Student Services, our Black Unity Center, our LGBTQIA Student Life, our Undocumented Dream Resource Center, as well as our Interfaith Programs Unit, which I support, oversee, and that includes our Jewish Student Life and Muslim Student Life, and our Latinx Student Services as well. And those are our awesome team members there. Next slide there. So one of the awesome things that we got to do, and I'm relatively new to San Francisco State. I started in July of 2020 on this virtual platform and been able to meet so many awesome people like Naomi. And we partnered up to do a Jewish Student Life speaker series that took place all virtually. This is the first time that we partnered to do such an initiative, and we've had a lot of great success. And this also highlights our desire to really educate the community on campus, but also build that sense of belonging within our Jewish student life. And we support to facilitate intercultural and intergroup dialogue, of course, equity and inclusion, social justice, and overall improve the campus climate of all of our students. In this instance, this was specifically targeting our Jewish students on campus and allies and folks that would really want to learn more. And I'm also very excited to announce in this space that we are actively looking for a Jewish Student Life coordinator to join our campus. So if you all know of any folks that may be interested, please reach out or find our posting on higheredjobs.com or at the SFSU website. But that flyer there is just a highlight of the programs that we hosted this semester. And we are so looking forward to continuing our speaker series plus more. So if you make it to San Francisco State, know that you will expect a rich campus life. And we would love to stay in touch and hear from you. And these are our contact information from SF Hillel. You have Naomi, and then from our office here, you have myself, Christian. Our websites are highlighted there, as well as our social media, specifically our Instagram. We ask you to follow us. I know we're doing a promotion week this week, and we're wanting to get to 100,000 followers. But you can help us get there by one like at a time. So if you all can follow us on social media or reach out with any of your questions, we're always happy to support you or refer you to someone that may have an answer for you. So thank you so much for this time. And if there's any questions, we'll love to hear them.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Christian. Before we pass the baton to Maya, who is our student representative, I just want to point out to those of you on the bus that this is not, you don't necessarily find this kind of partnership between the Office of Diversity, Student Equity, and Interfaith Programs at every campus like you do here with Hillel at San Francisco State. And I just want to say it's remarkable in the work that you are doing to create a really diverse and open campus is phenomenal. And I just want to congratulate you guys for the work and to the university who's helping to make this happen, because it is not to be taken for granted. I know it doesn't happen at most campuses. So you guys are really leaders in making that happen. So thank you.
Thank you. I'll just like to highlight, thank you for that. But in all honesty, it's because SF Hillel staff at San Francisco are on top of their game. So they are awesome, and they welcomed us when we joined the team at San Francisco. There's been transition, but they are awesome, and we are happy to be partnered up with them, and look forward to how that will grow. But thank you for that, Deb.
Absolutely. Naomi, did you want to say anything before we move to Maya?
No, I am excited to pass it off to Maya, because Maya knows better than anyone on this call what it's like to be a student at SF State.
Perfect. You said it better than I could. Maya, welcome.
Hi, everyone. I am Maya. I am a rising junior, and I'm a broadcasting major. And I just have to say, I just remembering like the first few days of being in at SF State in a large campus. I came from a small Jewish high school, so it was very different. I mean, like going just alone high school to college is already like crazy, but then also coming from a smaller campus to a much larger one. I just remember though feeling very very welcomed with like SF Hillel. Like, of course, like I gravitated towards that in the very start. And I met, oh my God, everyone is so nice at SF Hillel and very welcoming, especially like the first days being on campus. But also with, I remember like when just like enrolling into classes the first like during orientation, just how kind everyone was, and like, you know, you're like learning a whole new system of like, okay, you get to choose your classes. I mean, you have much more freedom than high school. And it can be very overwhelming. I certainly was overwhelmed, but it was really nice because you had people there like to advise you, showing you like, okay, like this is how you, like literally sitting with you to like enroll in your classes, and also like learn about like, okay, like what are the requirements and what do you need. And I have, oh my God, there's so many things I want to mention. I also remember too, just the very beginning, um, about like the different activities that were offered for like the beginning of the year. There's like comedy nights, and there was even like roller skating, and like it was a great way to, I don't know, there was just so many, I couldn't go to all of them, but I remember it being very fun to like meet people. um Also with SF Hillel too, the day before classes there was like a little schmooze fest. We had bagels and like learned about the different programs at SF Hillel, and I got to meet like other Jewish students and other current Jewish students, and like new freshmen too, which was really lovely. I saw a question pop up, and I could totally, oh, so finding out about Hillel, oh my gosh, I think I okay, so there was 2 moments. One was in the very beginning of when, you know, when school starts, you have all the student organizations on the quad, which is really fun. You have like a bunch of booths of this and that, and of course, I saw like the Israeli flag, so of course I gravitated towards that, and I saw like there's SF Hillel, and also AE Pi was there, and it was a great way to like, you know, meet more students, and that's how I found it. I found out about Hillel just like hearing. I have like their email chain too, like when I was looking for colleges. It was wonderful. But yes, and I was also going to mention the awesome resources at SF State. I'm just going to do a quick little shout out to the career services, because as a freshman, I remember going into the office, and just to like, you know, see what's going on, like how like what it also a lot of like first year classes, some of the not assignments, but like you learn more about like the resources on campus, which is really great for, you know, for freshmen who are like getting acquainted with everything. And it was so cool though, because I came in, everyone was really nice, and I heard about this Salesforce conference, like event going on, and I just like, you know, was encouraged to, you know, sign up for it, and I didn't know that much about it at first. I thought it was just like a workshop, but turns out it was actually the Salesforce conference, and it was not just the conference, but the Future Executive Summit, which was a really cool program that SF State students went to, and that was just an amazing experience, just having that opportunity, and like, you know, being in the city, there's a lot of amazing opportunities there, and just with the help of the career services, there's so many programs, and it was a really cool experience. So just a shout out to them, because that was awesome. Also, but yeah, I mean, especially, I mean, now this year everything was remote, which of course is much more challenging, but I just felt so supported by my professors, and SF Hillel too. I mean, usually we would, you know, go to Shabbats at the SF Hillel house and have high holidays together, but being remote, we still had that, and I still really felt connected. And I have to just say, the cutest things coming into the mail, like from SF Hillel, has just made my semesters, because it was just so nice, like getting like little things for like Passover, for Rosh Hashanah, and so I felt very like connected, and I'm so grateful to it. And it was really nice, especially during the pandemic, to still have those events even virtually, and to see everyone, and even see new faces too. Um, but but yeah, those are just some of the highlights and things that I've experienced. And yeah, I don't know.
Naomi, I love that. There's even more swag. Just wait.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Great. Maya, there was a question about anti-Semitism and the approach
Yeah.
to Israel. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Or Naomi, I mean, anyone on the call who'd like to address what is, not that school is in right now, but what has the climate been on campus around Israel and anti-Semitism?
Maya, do you want to answer first?
I'm either way. You can go first, then I can chime in. Sure.
Great. Well, I will just, I will start out by saying that it takes a easy Google search with some basic keywords to be able to see articles about the difficult campus climate issues at SF State. And there's no reason to hide behind it because it's true. Again, it's on Google. And it's not always easy to be a Jewish student at SF State, and we know that. And I think that we work every day with Christian, with others on the campus to really figure out how do we improve the campus climate at SF State so that every student, regardless of their identity and of all their identities, feels welcome and included, and especially specifically our Jewish students. How do they feel welcome on campus? And I will say that, you know, whenever something happens, Hillel and many other resources are here to support students. That's first and foremost what we are here to do, to check in, to just provide space of like, what just happened? Let's figure it out together and let's discuss where we go from here. And for some of our students, that means getting involved in student government and advocating on a student government level for how to change things. For other students, it's working with campus administration and advocating about campus climate specifically and thinking through what that looks like. For other students, it's I want to ensure that we keep having amazing Shabbat programs and keep having amazing whatever it might be. And that's how they stay plugged in. And for others, it's just, I'm going to show up, but I don't want to deal with anything. And wherever students are, that's where we meet them. And in terms of Israel, I think that's our same approach. We certainly work to have any student from any viewpoint or no viewpoint feel comfortable coming and engaging. I think through Hillel specifically, we do a lot of educational programming and offering, let's engage, let's ask these questions, let's hear from people. So I don't know, Maya, I'd love to hear again from a student perspective what that looks like, and I'm happy to share more details as well if there are other specific questions around that.
Oh yeah, thank you, Naomi. No, yeah, that's at least I know for me, like I always feel so supported from like Hillel too. I mean, I was only like on campus for like a year and a little bit because of the pandemic, but I hadn't really experienced anything so like negative, like like just like being on campus. I've also don't live on campus, so that's another thing too, but a lot of my friends do, and it looks really fun, but I'm still around. And what I was gonna say though, at least for me, I know that right now I'm on part of the advisory committee, like getting what's it called, it just has started. um Yes, thank you. The campus climate advisory committee, and really working with um, just like within the school, and so that I feel like really good about that and feel supported in that. And yeah, definitely, you know, I also like just thinking about like the first days of being on campus and everything. I remember, you know, with SF Hillel, you have like I don't know what they're called, but you kind of have like coffee dates with someone from Hillel, like in the very beginning, and that's always nice because then you like you're one on one with someone and you like learn about the different opportunities on campus. And something a little bit off, but something that I really wanted to mention is the Design Tribe, that program that SF Hillel has, because it is so incredible, just all the opportunities that Hillel provides, because there's like different tracks. And I remember just my freshman year, I was part of like the creators track, so that was like coming up with like different ways to like celebrate different holidays with everyone, or you know, create any event that you know might just be fun and meaningful. But then there's also like different many tracks, and even if like, you know, some students are like into business and marketing, and you can even have an opportunity in that, which I just think is super cool. And there's so many more that I just like, they're all on the website, but I just have to say that has been something really fun and engaging, and another great way to connect with other students too, and even connect what you're studying to, you know, the organization, and like um, do that as well. So I just wanted to mention that before I forgot, because it's something really special and really fun.
Yeah, it
Oh,
sounds super different. I haven't heard of anything about that before. It sounds really creative. So I also want to just like shout out to it sounds like you can find your place at home, feeling at home when you're at San Francisco State Hillel. Like it's a really comfortable landing place, which is so important. And you can hear that resonate through what you're sharing. Was there anyone else who wanted to pop in? We've made, yes, Christian, we have some extra time.
I'll jump in there really quick. I'd also like to share that we have established the San Francisco State um, Educational and Interfaith Programs Fund, where students, faculty, and staff can apply up to $2,000 for grants to support any program and initiative that aligns with the fund's requirements, you could say. So that's open for students, faculty, and staff. And those programs have complete autonomy if they meet the requirements. In addition, Maya mentioned the Jewish Student Life Campus Climate Initiative that the university is actively working on with support from SF Hillel and SF Hillel International. So Hillel International, and then the chapter at SF Hillel. This has been, a lot of this has been an impact from the incidents that have happened in the past. And unfortunately, for some of these things to have happened in such progressive or how can I say it, resources for there to be available. Unfortunately, those incidents took place, but something good came out of it. And I'm hoping that our students see that and know that we are actively in. There's multiple conversations happening at all types of level with administration, how we can be better support to our Jewish students on our campus and enhancing the relationship that we have with our campus, with our community partners as well. And we don't shy away from hearing the beautiful, the ugly. We want to know it, and that's how we can make some progress, right? Being compassionate and being having that consciousness, right? So I wanted to highlight that, but we're always learning, and we're always open to feedback and what students have to say. Thank you.
Terrific. Like I said, I just popped in the chat. If there are any last questions that we want to make sure to get out there, we have all the representative from San Francisco State still here and want to make sure that we have an opportunity to hear from all of you. So if there are any other questions, I have found this presentation to be super inspiring. I've learned a ton. I personally have a good friend who is a professor at San Francisco State, Mark Dollinger, and he was my camp counselor. So, it goes way back. And it's just so nice to hear your experiences, all of you, and help color in the picture of what the school is like. Anyone have anything else that they just wanted to remember to say? Otherwise, we'll be wrapping it up. Anyone? I'm just super grateful to all of you. Thank you to our campus representatives. We are super glad you joined us. The video is going to be uploaded to our virtual college road trip website, so you can review it anytime. You can also watch any of the other school presentations and the student bus driver videos, which are really fun. There's still a number of information sessions and workshops throughout the month of June, so feel free to opt into others through the roadtriptocollege.org website. And know that we are available if you have any other questions. And again, Naomi, Maya, Christian, Rachel, thank you so much for being here and for sharing and preparing. We're really grateful. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you.